Hi, everyone. Great to be here. I'm Attorney Yael Brudner coming to you guys live with a great topic. Today, I'm going to talk about immigration waivers. What are the waivers and who needs them? So if you're new to our channel, please like, subscribe so that you can get more notifications about topics like this. So let's jump in, everyone, and talk about our topic for today, which is immigration waivers. You might have heard about it. You might have been told that you need a waiver. And so today I'm going to go back to the basis, start about right from the beginning. What are these waivers and why would someone even need one? So, in the world of immigration law here in the US, in order to qualify to immigrate to the United States, you have the burden to show that you are admissible to the United States so that you are eligible to immigrate to the United States. And there is no reason why you would be ineligible or inadmissible. Okay, and the law actually specifies a long list of inadmissibility grounds, so reasons why someone would be ineligible. So some of these reasons could be criminal reasons, could be um, previous immigration violations, could be overstay, being in the United States unlawfully, could be any fraud or misrepresentation that was made to the US government, or it could be even medical reasons or reasons that have to do with becoming a public charge in the United States, financial reasons. Okay, so there's a long list of inadmissibility reasons or issues or what we call grounds, and they are all specified in the law, in the INA. Okay, now why would someone need a waiver? So if you are interested in immigrating to the United States and you have anything on your record or in your history that would make you inadmissible or ineligible, you might have an option to file for a waiver. A waiver is like a legal forgiveness. Okay, you're asking to forgive your inadmissibility or your ineligibility. Okay, and usually, if you are eligible for a waiver, that means that it's good news that you might be able to overcome the reason that you are ineligible. And like I said, there's different waivers for different reasons, and each waiver has different requirements. Today, I'm going to talk about the most common waivers, which are the waivers for the 3 and 10-year bars, because they're very common. And I'm going to talk about that specifically. But if you are joining us live, feel free to write any questions that you might have about waivers or about any other topic. I am happy to get to them at the end of the talk today about waivers. Feel free to write your questions in the comments. Okay, so let's dive into the most common waiver that's needed. It's the waiver for the 3 and 10-year bar. Basically, it's the waiver that forgives unlawful presence. Okay, so let's give a scenario where this can happen. Or let me give an explanation and then I'll give a scenario of when this can happen. So the law says that if you've been in the United States unlawfully for more than 180 days and less than a year, and you leave the United States, then you trigger a 3-year bar to return to the US. Okay? The law continues to say that if you've been unlawfully present here for more than a year and you leave the US, then you trigger a 10-year bar to return. You cannot return to the United States before the 3 years or the 10 years without obtaining a waiver of forgiveness of this unlawful presence. Okay, so when does this come up? What is the most common scenario that comes up that you would need the waiver of unlawful presence, the 3 or 10-year bar waiver? The common scenario is this. Someone is here in the United States. Let's say they came in years ago when they were a child. Maybe they came in legally with a visa, but just never left, so overstayed. Or maybe they came in unlawfully without any visa, but they came into the US, they're here, they've been here for many years. Okay. Now, fast forward maybe 25 years, now they're married to a US citizen and they want to apply for their residency. They want to get their green card based on this marriage. So their US citizen spouse can petition them, right, for the marriage. Then that's great, but that's only the first step in the process. The first step in the process is a petition by a US citizen spouse. But the second part of the process is the applicant, you have to apply for the green card. You have to prove that you are admissible and you are eligible to become a resident. Now, the law says, unfortunately, that you can only apply for the green card in the United States if you've entered legally. Okay, so let's say in our example, you did not enter legally, you came in unlawfully, and then you now want to continue with your case. You want to apply for your green card. So if you want to do that, you have to go back to your home country to apply for your residency. Okay, so your spouse petitioned you, you have an approved petition, but if you want to be able to become a resident, you can't do it here in the United States unless you meet some exceptions. But let's say you don't, generally speaking, you have to go out of the country for your process. Now, like I said, if you have been unlawfully present here in the United States for more than a year after you turn 18, and you leave, you trigger a 10-year bar to return. So this is a very common scenario in which this happens, okay, where someone has been here in the United States unlawfully because they came in, they never had any status, and then they left because they were trying to go to their green card interview, right? Then they would need a waiver of forgiveness of this 10-year bar. Okay. Now, the good thing about this specific scenario is for this specific waiver, it is available for this in this scenario to be filed in the United States. It's the 601A waiver. You can apply for it here and before you go anywhere. And once you get your approval on your waiver, then you would go and you're no longer inadmissible or ineligible based on that grounds of inadmissibility. You don't have the unlawful presence issue. You don't have that 10-year bar anymore. Okay. So that's one very, very common example. I can give you another example. Another example of someone that would need a waiver is maybe there is at some point you committed misrepresentation to the government. So maybe at one point you entered the United States showing someone else's visa. Or at one point you applied for a visa to the United States, but instead of saying that you're married, you said that you're single. Those are reasons why you would need a waiver, because that could be alleged as misrepresentation. And if the government says that you have committed misrepresentation, then that means that you are ineligible and you would need to apply for a waiver of forgiveness. Now, these waivers are tricky and they are very comprehensive. You need to show that you qualify for the waiver. The waiver is not a matter of, oh, I'm so sorry, please forgive me. It's, I'm so sorry, please forgive me, and I meet the requirements of the waiver. So in the example that I just gave, both of those examples, you would have to show that you have a US citizen or lawful permanent resident spouse or parent, and that your qualifying relative would suffer extreme hardship if you had to spend 10 years outside the United States, okay? Or if you're not eligible to receive a green card. So waivers are tricky. Waivers are comprehensive. It is a legal motion, a legal request. And I really recommend to you that if you are in this situation and you think you might need a waiver, to consult with an immigration attorney. Don't attempt to do a waiver by yourself. It's super complicated. If you need to leave the United States for an interview for your green card, check with an attorney before you go anywhere. If you've been unlawfully here in the United States and you need to go, check to see if you need a waiver, because the very horrible thing that can happen is that you leave for your interview and then you discover that you need a waiver. Okay, once you're outside of the United States, you want to try to prevent that. Okay, so really hiring a professional, hiring an attorney can help you fix any issues that you've had in your case. Okay, great. So just a quick reminder, if you're new here, please make sure to like our channel, subscribe to us so that you can get more information about events like this. And if you have any questions, please let me know. You can write them here in the chat, Or if you're watching the replay of this, you're also more than welcome to send us your questions. I'm happy to answer them later as well. Okay, and I'm going to go to the final topic of today, is basically how can you avoid a waiver? Okay, so there are some situations where you typically would need a waiver. However, you might qualify for a different legal option that would prevent you the need of having a waiver. Because, like I explained, while waiver is optional, it doesn't always apply to everyone. Not everyone is going to have a qualifying relative that is needed or would meet otherwise the requirements of the waiver. Or maybe a waiver is not available for their specific inadmissibility ground. So I want to encourage you to check if you're interested in filing for an immigration case. There are certain types of cases that are very forgiving. So if you follow me, you can see on my channel, I have a video that I did about the U and the T visas. They're very, very forgiving. They forgive almost all grounds of inadmissibility and ineligibility. So I want to encourage you to check that video, and see if you might qualify for one of those humanitarian options that could save you the need of having a waiver. Okay. Great, guys. Well, I am so happy to have been here and talking to you a little bit about the topic of waivers. There's so much that goes into this. This is, of course, just general information. It's not legal advice. But if you have a situation where you feel like you might need a waiver, your case is a little complicated, you've been here unlawfully, you have a criminal record, or anything in your past, consult with a professional so you can get the best advice. Okay. And I'm here for you anytime. So just shoot me a comment or a direct message, and I'm happy to help. Okay, guys, have a good rest of your day.